Hello, everyone, and welcome back finally to the OFR Season 4 opener at the Bahrain Grand Prix. It's been a long 3 months, but we are finally back, and qualifying is underway for the first time here in Show's Division in 3 months, March all the way back to December, when, of course, AlphaTauri driver and AlphaTauri won the Constructors' Championship. Will we see a repeat of that this year, or will it be different? We are back to equal performance, and it's going to be a lot different. I think the grid this year, maybe we'll see different gaps. Some drivers do better than they did last year, obviously, in equal cars. Others might do a bit worse. So we'll have to see um, what this season does bring us. But I think it's an interesting change back to what I was told the old way was with equal performance. Um, and yeah, we're going to have to see what happens, as I think my stream has just frozen. So that is a great way to start the season. All right, we are back and running, and we have already a couple people out of the pits starting their laps. I believe Monkey Man Matt will be the first one to start his lap unless the Red Bulls are on a flying lap. But we'll see the man, I believe, top 4 in the driver's standings last year as he goes through turn 1. And into sector 2 now, Monkey Man Matt in the Haas. So an interesting transfer from AlphaTauri to Haas as he heads through turns 11 and 12 here. One of the trickiest portions of this lap, as his sector 2 time reads a 107.8. So a slower start to Monkey Man Matt than many of us may have expected, as we see some of the times pulling in left here with a 29.5 on the mediums in that Aston Martin. So that is a really promising time for the Hungarian driver. Luca behind him in the Haas at 30.6, so a huge gap there. Pole time we should expect to see around the mid 28s as Monkey Man Matt crosses the line, but it'll only be enough for P2 as it is a 30.2. NL Carr, a new driver, was not here last year. He's going to get P3 with a 30.4. Tim Blaish also in that area, but he didn't validate. He might be starting another lap. Matt Missile also hasn't validated. Marco with a 29.9. Sector 1, I'm not sure if he's backed off his lap, but for the time being, we'll follow him. Another new driver. So half of the grid pretty much has been shaken up. We see some familiar faces, Dr. Robot, Mega Player, Ricarda, I believe Nico as well, just changed his username. Left Gear, Monkey Man Matt, Arthur Kostrewa still in the pits, Tim Blaish. But then we also have a lot of new faces like Marco, who's Sector 2 time now a 109.5. So not going to be an incredibly competitive lap, but we have Shadow Ben, Dylan, both the Mercedeses are new. And of course, Rickety. So quite a few new drivers, but definitely some familiar faces as Marco heads through the final corner. Where will this land him? This should be around 8th or 9th for the AlphaTauri. Marco crosses the line. It will be a 133 flat. So it is P9 for the AlphaTauri, as Dr. Robot's going to come into the pits here. I'm not sure that Ferrari is going to be on a lap. That is Nico, and Nico is going to cross the line. That's going to be front row for the Ferrari with a 1:30.139. Matt Missel maybe with some connection issues here. Let's see, Tim Blish. I believe he did start a second lap, but it is invalid, so he should be coming into the pits this lap. The Williams driver last season found success at Aston Martin at certain races, but also was quite unlucky. Let's hope that his fortunes can turn around this season. Always someone I'm happy to pull for. As Reshkone, one of the 6 drivers yet to set a time in that AlphaTauri. On an outlap, Arthur Cochet was still yet to come out of the pits. And meanwhile, Rickety, starting his lap. Matt Missel's teammate in the Alpine, who in real life have been rather bad. So hopefully in OFR, that is not the case with their overweight car last in the standings. Let's see what Rickety can do using all of the track coming into turn 4 there. And a bit slow maybe on the power, but a 29.1 first sector, that will be adequate for the Alpine driver as he comes through 7 here. That ABS really showing the true difficulty of true test of skill that it takes to drive these cars down to 9 and 10, one of the hardest turns in the entire F1 calendar, but one of my favorites. If you get it right, it is really satisfying, and he's stuck in traffic a little bit here. Maybe that will slow him down. Dirty air from that AlphaTauri Alfa Romeo ahead, but he might just be far enough back where that shouldn't affect him. Rickety, again, getting very far on the edge of the track. It's going to be a 7.9. Thought that would just about jump into the 8s, but a pretty good time for Rickety so far. This should put him near the front 2 rows. If he can just get a solid second sector, maybe he'll get a bit of a tow down to the line from that AlphaTauri, and it looks like he might just, he's a bit too far back, but Rickety in the Alpine is going to cross the line, and it is a 30 flat, so a great second sector there, a 22.1 in that last sector. That will put him P3, as Monkey Man Matt actually was also on a lap. He improves to a 29.7 now. Left gear on a lap as he comes here through turn 4. A bit narrow there. Nice on the power, though. Is he going to improve? He is. He's up 4 tenths, a 28.7, which, of course, is to be expected. He is now on the soft tires. And, he slides through turn 7 there. The ABS getting the better of him, but he still should be up a substantial amount of time through, of course, sector 2. If he can continue, it slides the rear a bit through turn 10 as he comes down. This short straight, and that's a Ferrari into the wall. That's going to be Nico into the barrier somehow at turn 10. I just about caught that, and he's going to have to let the other cars by. Let's go back to left gear, whose sector 2 time was 6.8. So even with that mistake in sector 1, he's now on to be the first driver to cross into the 28s. This lap time should be about a 28.6, 28.7, which I predicted would be close to the pole time, as left gear heads through the last turns 14, 15, using all of the track. He crosses the line, 28.767, and now by a second, he is on pole. Monkey Man Matt behind him, looking to potentially close that gap. Now, of course, Season 3 champion is not here right now, which is interesting. He is not here. Focus is not here currently to defend his title. I believe he is the 20th driver that we're missing, but could we see left gear run away with it this race as the second Haas Luca goes through the last 2 turns? Can he beat his teammate? This is looking like a solid lap time for him. At 29.581, he does just about edge out his teammate. But will we see track evolution come into play here? In real life at Bahrain, track evolution is quite strong. We saw it this year as well. Alonso putting in a really good lap, especially for the car he's in, but only achieved P6. Of course, he was on a different run plan than everyone else who came at the end and took full advantage of track Evo. Beat him out by a couple hundredths of a second. In the game, not so much. You'll see maybe about a tenth and a half of track evolution if you from the start of the session to the end of the session, but we definitely should see these times improve. Mega Player only with a 31 flat, So he was very high up in the standings as well last season. I can't remember if he was second or third, but he did win the Belgian Grand Prix. The one race that Focus didn't win was won by the Alfa Romeo driver of Mega Player, and still in the Alfa Romeo right now he is. Unfortunately, though, not performing as well as we may have wanted to, whereas Showcrime here in the Red Bull, interesting. He's going to get a nice little tow from his teammate there. No, he's giving his teammate tow, or no, his teammate's not on a lap. Okay, so I thought the Red Bulls were coordinating a team tow there, the two owners, Dr. Robot and Showcrime, 10th and 12th right now, but Showcrime on a pretty fast lap, 8.4. Maybe not as fast as I thought it was, but still, he's up 5/10s, and he's got a personal best second sector. Will this move him up from now 11th? If he improves, he'll move up one position to in front of Mega Player, but can he try and jump the two Mercedes? I think that's going to be the goal for this lap, using all of the track in that last turn. He crosses the line at 30.7, so just about missing out on the fourth row, but he will be on the fifth with Dylan now as his teammate Dr. Robot starts a lap. So because I do want to get paid, I'm going to give them nice little screen time, but Dr. Robot over the curb there, jumps his car over the curb at turn one. You never really want to hit that curb, at least not as much as he did there, as he heads down to turn four there, brushing up against the left side of the track. A bit of a wide line, but nicely on the power. We'll see him come through turns 5 and 6 here, and struggles maybe a bit, but two high-speed corners there. Not necessarily the easiest of corners. Down to second gear for turn 7. Good on the power on the exit. Now, through this turn, it will be rather difficult for the Red Bull, but he looks like he's absolutely nailed it. Maybe a little bit on the exit there, but that was really fast for Dr. Robot, only down in 14th right now with a 31.6. Hopefully he can improve on this lap and maybe jump ahead of his teammate, as Reshkon and Shadow Ben don't think they've had representative laps just yet, but an 8.8 for Dr. Robot, that won't be enough to see him move up positions. So fourth gear through that turn, will we see him box this lap, or is he going to try and finish the lap? I think that is a Ferrari. Yep, that's Nico going to move out of the way. Let him by Dr. Robot through 14 and 15. Is he going to finish the lap? I don't think so. No, he's gone into the pits. So Dr. Robot will have one more try to potentially get improve his time in this session. 4 minutes remaining. He's going to have to wait for his teammate to box, as already on a lap as well now. The other Hungarian driver, previously of Alpine, believe he is a podium sitter from last season, Show Division Season 3, and an 8.3 means a 6/10 improvement so far for Artie. But if he can get this right, he will be on for a 30.4, potentially beating NL Carr for 9th place. But right now he'll slot in between the two Mercedes if he can just continue this lap. And down to the line, ASVP Artie of the Ferrari. Where will he finish? And it will be 11th. So he lost a bit of time there in Sector 3. Not as good as he may have wanted, and just about beats out Showcrime by 0.006 of a second. Now let's look at his teammate also on a lap. The two Ferraris finishing their final runs a bit early. Don't think either of them are going to have time to do another run unless Nico boxes this lap, because he's not improving, I don't think. No, he's down half a second. So he's also on 3-lap old softs. And I don't think this is... Yeah, he's not the only driver to try and do more than one flying lap. We see their Mega Player on 4-lap old... 4-lap old... I almost said 4-lap old Alfa Romeos. 4-lap old tires. Now, Left Gear is out of the pits as well, as we see Shadow Ben on the grass. He's just broken a barrier. He's going to let everyone else by. Let's go on board with Left Gear, though, who's improving through Sector 1, 28.6. Okay, let's see his Sector 2 time. Is he still up? Has he lost a bit of time? No, he is still up, and he wants to improve his advantage. Fourth gear through that turn. Some use third. He elects to use fourth. Now, let's see. Is he going to... No, yeah, he goes up to 8th gear on this straight. Left gear down to the final turn there, down to 4th. So taking it nice and easy, but he did ride the curb there a bit. He's going to cross the line, but he found another 10th in that final sector. Incredible lap from Left Gear, 28.4, and that is surely going to be pole position unless Monkey Man Matt has anything to say about that. He was up 700s through sector 1, but that time is just way too slow compared to Monkey Man Matt, and he's got a bit of traffic ahead as well. Hopefully he doesn't collide with the two Williamses, and there's debris on the track there, and he's going to have to move off. That's going to compromise his time. I believe that was Shadow Ben who impeded the Haas on his flying lap. That's going to cost him time, and look at that, he's down 210, so he's going to have to try and regain ERS. He's got more than enough fuel in the tank. That shouldn't be an issue for the Haas, but he's going to lose out on what advantage the fresh tires would have gave him. That is going to be an incident reviewed at the end of the race. Meanwhile, his teammate Luca, with a lot of clear air ahead of him, only one McLaren, who's also on a flyer, far ahead of him already in Sector 2. Let's see Luca's time in Sector 1 here. It's going to be 28.9, so it's up a tenth and a half, but unfortunately not enough. Not even close to where Left here was with a 28.6 as he heads through 7 here. The Haas, can he try through 8, 9, and 10? Luca, I think at this point, it's just a matter of who gets second place. I don't think it's going to be a fight for pole Left here into the pits. He can happily retire knowing that he is going to be sitting on first as Luca runs wide. He's not invalidated, but that's going to cost him a bit of time here. And he's going to head through Sector 2. It's a 7.6. So, yeah, that cost him quite a bit of time as King Mural crossed the line with a 30 flat. I think he's on another flyer, unless this is his first flyer. Ricarda just about slots in behind his teammate. So, McLaren's looking like a formidable force. A 30 flat for them both. Artur Kostreva with a 30 flat as well. So only half a 10 separating P4 to P7. Nico on a lap as well. I think we're going to ride on board with King Mural, who's getting a nice little tow from that Red Bull. But now through this portion, maybe the dirty air going to slow him down a bit. But King Mural looks like he could potentially fight for the front row. It's going to be in the 6s. No, it's a 7.1 though, so that's the closest we've seen to Left here. And now look at this. He's going to get an incredible tow down to the line from the Red Bull. Let's just hope he doesn't get impeded into this final turn here. But this could very well be second place for King Mural as he gets incredibly close to that Red Bull. But now he's going to get another tow down to the line here. King Mural is going to cross the line. Already got disqualified, and King Mural with the 29.2. That'll be P2 unless Luca can improve. He was up 1/10. He was up less than he was last time. He's going to get a bit of tow as well. Monkey Matt crosses the line. That's it for him. Wukarda is done. Artur Kostreva was up a little bit. He's going to cross the line. Let's ride on board with him. Ricketti's into the wall, so his qualifying session is done. I believe that's Nico coming down the back straight as well. Artur crosses the line. Can he improve up to P5? He can, and by a huge margin as well, almost into P4. Let's see. Nico spins on the final turn. Nico has spun. Now let's go back to Luca, who is up half a tenth of a second. That won't be enough. That'll just barely improve his time. I think he's the last one to cross the line. Luca, unless he finds a whole tenth in this last sector, he won't be able to improve, and he doesn't. A 29.6 his final lap. So there it is. Your pole sitter here at Bahrain is going to be the Aston Martin of Left here. Then King Mural in second behind. The two Haas's will lock out the second row. 3 and 4 for Luca and Monkey Man Matt, respectively. Artur Kostreva back to business this season with a P5, out-qualifying his teammate Mega Player down in 9th place. Wukarda in 6th, so very good for him as well. Ricchetti 7th, great debut qualifying session from him. Nico in 8th, Mega Player in 9th. Showcrime, then the two Mercedeses lock out the 6th row. Dr. Robot in 13th. Tim Blaish, then Reshkone, Marco, Shadow Ben, and Matt Missile unable to set a lap time and already disqualified from the session for parking in a dangerous location. We'll have to see if there's maybe potentially a lobby restart about that. I don't think there would be, but Artie will definitely be complaining about that. And there is your qualifying results. So I'm not sure what to say about this. I think definitely a bigger gap between the drivers than we saw last season. I think it's going to be Left here dominating this race pretty much the whole way through, and then King Mural will be doing his best to fend off the two Haas's and Artur. But we are definitely seeing a closer midfield than we saw last season. Wukarda, Rikiti, Nico, Mega Player, Show Crime, even the two Mercs, Dr. Robot, they're all very close together. I'm sure Tim Blake, that wasn't the best lap he could pull off. We saw how decent he was last season. He'll definitely be fighting for the points. Let's go down to the bottom here as well. Reshkone will definitely be in the points conversation. So interesting to see what this race will bring, what the strategies will bring, how the drivers will handle the pressure of not racing for 3 months and then coming back now, starting a season here at Bahrain. Definitely one of the easier tracks, but still, I anticipate that the nerves will be high. And Left Gear now, with everything to lose, can he potentially go out and strike fear into the hearts of the grid by winning by a huge margin? Of course, Focus will look to stop that next week if he races. But currently, I think Left Gear is on a different level than everyone else. Will we see Artie with a comeback drive starting from last? I anticipate he'll start on either the softs or the hards to try and switch strategies compared to everyone else. But definitely, I enjoyed that qualifying session. Um, Maybe we'll do the Max Verstappen strategy like they do in real life, where we just tape over first place and we watch, of course, the battle for second. But at the moment, this is shaping up to be an interesting opening race of the season. So we are underway for the formation lap for the first time here at Bahrain. And of course, that Aston Martin is going to lead the pack with the McLaren and two Haas's following closely behind. So let's take a look at the strategy. Um, wow. So, okay. So a big mix of tires here. Let's enable everything and then we'll hide the UI. Left gear is going to start on the softs. An interesting strategy as Reshkone and the other Alpha Tauri Marco collide. So they will be disqualified and their tires are going to be cold when they start on the pit straight there. Um, but interesting strategy from Left here. I can definitely see why he did it. I mean, you're 8 tenths faster than pretty much everyone else on the grid as it stands. Why not just go on the softs, pull away from everyone else, not risk getting overtaken in DRS, of course. And then, sure, you'll also undercut everyone else. Sure, you'll have worse tires by the end of the race, but you'll then be so far ahead of everyone else that it won't matter. Most of the grid 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 drivers starting on the mediums as expected. One person starting on the hards. That's Dr. Robot. So actually, Artie maybe already heard what I said, and then he was like, nah, I'll start on the mediums, man. As the Hungarian Ferrari driver will be starting on the mediums from the back. 3 soft runners ahead of him, then a medium, then a soft, then a hard. So Dr. Robot alternating potentially a strategy with Show Crime. Um, Definitely an interesting strategy to start on the hards, but if you're starting in first, it usually pays off around here. Left here, though, electing to go for the softs from first place. Two stopper here is basically a death sentence. Like, a tire wear is not bad. You can definitely go hards to the end if you were allowed to not stop. So the tire wear situation around here is one of the better tracks. So the two stopper here is not a viable option unless there is an early safety car, which of course then Left gear will be the one who benefits the most. And Dr. Robot will be the one that loses out the most. Is look at this, the cars drifting on the pit straight. I think that was a Mega Player in the background there. And then that's Tim Blaish in the Williams. No, that's Shadow Ben, who just got disqualified for not being able to park his car. And look at that angle that left gear has. And now, for the first time this season in Show Division, Season 4, we have 5 red lights. And it is lights out, and away we go here. Left here pulls away nicely. King Miro, he's going to go up the inside to defend. And look at that, Luca with a decent start as well. King Miro pulls to the outside, but left here looks like he's going to have the inside line. And into turn 2, there Artur Castrelo up to 4th place. Monkey Man Matt down to 6th, down to 5th. And Ricchetti trying to get that position as well. Look at this. They were too wide for a second there. Monkey Man Matt still with a defensive line. Is he going to try it around the outside? No, he isn't. As the Haas blocks it. But look at that. That's Wukarda who sent one up the inside. Wukarda now up to 6th momentarily. And now he's lost the position back now down to 8th where he started. So that was a huge lunge up the inside, but it didn't work. Now Artur Castrelo, look at that, all over the back of the Haas. Is he going to try and Alonso maybe a move into turn 10, but looks like he's a bit far back left here, already 6/10 ahead of King Miro. And a bit of a lockup there from Luca. We saw the smoke. Artur Castrelo definitely taking full advantage of these softs and not using ERS yet, but he already has the advantage over the Haas. And look at this, more fights in the background as NL Car is up to 10. Is that Shogram who's trying for a move? No, that's Dr. Robot who's went for a move at the inside of turn 10, and he's made it work. And now he's up to 12th. And Artie, what happened? Artie into the wall at turn 11 on lap 1. And bad is to worse for Artie as he's now 6 seconds behind Reshko. Just the yellow flag though, no full safety car. And left gear has already pulled out of DRS as we see all the cars coming around the back there. And now Wukarda, maybe the run on Mega Player here. He's used a bit of ERS. Down the pit straight they go. Wukarda side by side with the Alfa Romeo. He's going to try and move into turn 1. And it looks like he's pulled it off unless Mega Player... Oh, that's Ricchetti who spun. So it looked like they came together there. And Mega Player tried to hold the space up the inside. And he's going to now overtake the Mercedes of NL Car. And Ricchetti was caught up in that battle there as Mega Player tries up the inside around the outside. The Mercedes tried to hold the position but couldn't, and now Matt Missile is down to the back. So bad day for the Alpines as Ricchetti only in 13th though, so he didn't lose that many positions, but not the ideal start for him as Tim Blaish has quietly moved up now to P12, attacking the lower points positions, and now all over the back of Dylan here, and elects not to go for it into the turn as both of them struggled a bit on the exit there. DRS is open next lap as left gear is already leading by 1.6 seconds, so Miro might be wise to burn some of that ERS to try and pull away from Luca, who's 7/10 off the McLaren there. As Tim Blaish, we're watching patiently, maybe he can get a move on that Mercedes, as I think Ricchetti wants to get on with it. He's definitely not happy to be in this group. He's definitely thinks he's faster than some of these as he almost tries a move into 14th, feigns one up the inside there as left gear takes fastest lap again. Look at this, Ricchetti with the run on Tim Blaish. He's going to use a bit of overtake. He's going to go side by side with the Williams, but it looks like the Alpine will make the move happen before turn 1 unless Tim Blaish is going to send one up the inside. No, he isn't. But that almost looked like a move as Ricchetti now looks like he has the run on the Mercedes, but I think he might just be a bit too far back. He is using the DRS though, and look at this, he's gaining on the Merc, who moves off his line to defend and moves back on the line. Is that moving under braking potentially from Dylan there? Ricchetti might want to see that investigated, as we'll definitely see a bit of a comeback drive from the Alpine here, as we've got a nice little group of cars from Mega Player all the way back to Tim Blaish. And look at this, Ricchetti again all over the back of Dylan here. Surely braking a little early into 10 there, getting the run on the Mercedes is going to be important. Look at this incredible exit from Ricchetti, really showing how dominant he is. And Ricchetti is going to have to take the outside line though. The Mercedes is going to push him the long way around, but it looks like the Alpine is going to try the move still, and he's gotten his nose ahead into 11. So incredible overtaking prowess from the Alpine to be able to pull that off. And still now he's in the DRS of Marco, and through one corner he's already made up about a 10th And look at this behind him, Dylan potentially trying to get back at him. He has more yards, and what's happened there? Luca has been overtaken by Arthur Costrewa. I saw a yellow flag, and I thought something happened, but that's just Shadow Ben in the third sector there. Look at that. Arthur Costrewa goes really, really wide, and that's going to leave him vulnerable to Monkey Man Matt, who has had a slide out of 3. So a potential possibility to overtake him. As what happened to Rick Kitty? Rick Kitty again into turn 1, and he's found himself the wrong way around. He's made up 3-4 positions, and now he's back down to 13th. He will not be happy with that whatsoever. But now let's look at this show crime all over the back of NL Carr. Can he potentially make a move? Looks like he's backed off a bit through 6. Will we see a lunge into 8 though? No, we will not. Let's go back up to the front here. Look at this. Luca all over the back of King Miro fighting for those 2 podium spots, and Arthur Costreira was so far wide, almost fully off the track. Luca with a bit of a run on the McLaren, but it won't be enough. If he stays close enough, though, we might be able to see an overtake down the pit straight. Fairly even, both about a 50% ERS. Monkey Man Matt, though, has depleted down to 20%, so Arthur definitely has the advantage in that group, unless Luca's going to try for a move down this back straight. He shouldn't. That is the wise decision, is to stay behind here and just grab the DRS, and this is the closest we've seen these 2 all race, and the Haas is going to have a nice little run on the McLaren out of the turn. 2/10 is the gap, as we're going to see them come side by side, and oh, King Miro almost hit the Haas. I think that might have just been a visual glitch, as Luca tries it up the inside, and look at this, what a move. But King Miro is going to try to stick it around the outside, and outside becomes inside. They're still too wide through 3, and I believe Luca is going to have the DRS. So King Miro vulnerable now, potentially to Arthur Costrewa, but no, he's going to hold on to P3. But Luca with an incredible move to stick side by side for 3 turns with the McLaren and take that P2, as I think we're going to go back to interval mode now, as left gear is so far ahead. It's pointless to sort of show that. And Arthur Costrewa, well, look at this, getting ever closer to King Miro, so maybe Luca was getting held up by the McLaren, and he has a little bit of potential to be unleashed, but that is Dylan now, who has gone off the track, and he's going to have to re-enter there, but only after losing the position. That's Marco. Oh my, and carnage all over the place. It's only lap 5, and we've already seen 4 or 5 spinners. And look at this now, Nico maybe, or not Nico, Artie maybe trying a move. Oh, and he slid into 10, and will that give Artie damage as they come together there? The Alpha Tauri of not Reshkone, I think that was, trying to hold the position. And look at this, an unsafe rejoin from Reshkone. They're very, very close. And oh, they come together again. And Artie just not having a good day today. Is that going to be end plate damage for Artie? I think it potentially looks like he might have some light green, maybe yellow damage there. I'm not sure. I mean, if he doesn't, those Ferrari wings are made out of steel. But yeah, a lot of carnage in the back there, and that's Shadow Ben, I think, yeah, who spun at 11. So 18 seconds down now from the rest of the grid, and he's already very close to getting lapped, even though it is only lap 6. Now King Miro, these kept the gap steady at 3/10. Arthur Costrewa Softs are not going to be holding it out completely well through. Oh, and he's got a little bit of a slide through 8. Almost touched the rear of the Haas there. And as I said, that Arthur Costrewa has basically nullified that gap. And maybe we'll see him try the overtake on the McLaren, who had been P2 for pretty much the entire race. And Arthur taking a very unorthodox line through there. He's the only one we've seen take that line so far today. And 1 second. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for that interruption. We are back pretty much to where we started. No changes throughout lap 6 as King Miro now with the DRS on Luca, but he's too far back. He's going to maybe feign a move up the inside, but he definitely does not have the ability to send it. They're too far back into 10, not a low enough speed corner, but this DRS train here has been one of the more entertaining ones we've seen throughout this entire race, as Tim Blaish now potentially, he's in P10 now, so he's in the points, has the potential to move up the points. I think he's definitely faster than Show Crime. Not sure about NL Car, and that was almost the commentator's curse right there, as he almost lost the rear end here. Let's take a look at King Miro again, just a bit too far back, and of course that Haas ahead of him has the ERS advantage. Gets very close into turn 1 though, and could we see him have the run out of turn 1? And what is that? That is Rikitti, who has spun. So for the first time, I think this race, he's been involved in an incident that wasn't that was a fault of only his own, as he's going to lose that place to Dr. Robot. And Artur Kostrela has just pulled off a move, or has just defended a move from Monkey Man Matt into turn 4 that we didn't see because we were spectating that Alpine there. And another caution in sector 2, I believe that's Shadow Ben again, struggling with that corner, turn 11. So, oh, and they almost touched there. Guys, come on. Let's respect each other's braking zones. Artur almost touching the rear of King Miro. So, definitely a discrepancy between the driving styles of these guys. We don't want to see a collision as we did earlier on with Rikitti and Dylan, Tim Blaish, that group we saw back there. But yeah, so unfortunately for Shadow Ben now, pretty much the only thing that can save his race is a safety car at this point. He's about 4 seconds from being lapped. So left gear is going to have to pay attention to that. He's gotten 5.5 seconds to Luca, but he wouldn't want to lose all that due to a lapped car. Look at this, Artur Kostrela, great run on the McLaren. He's going to pull out of the slipstream a bit early though, and that might cost him unless he's going to still try a lunge up the inside of turn 1. And the Alfa Romeo is going to try it. King Miro is going to force to defend as they head through turn 2, too wide. And it looks like potentially, ooh, that was a little bit of contact there as Artur moves up into the podium positions. King Miro might not be happy about that, but Artur has stuck the move and is up to 3rd. Now King Miro down 2 places from the start. Started on the front row, now out of the podium places, as Luca is currently in the best position out of all of them. Artur is definitely going to have to box earlier. His pit window is going to open lap 11. We should expect to see him in, though, lap 12, as the pit window for the medium runners will open lap 12. We'll expect to see them in around 13 or 14, though, as Luca, who has consistently been the front driver in this DRS train, has not been under attack for a while, and it looks like his teammate Monkey Man Matt is maybe falling behind, but it looked like he gained about a tenth or two there through that turn, so might have just been a mistake out of 10. And yeah, he's well and truly back in the DRS train now. And Tim Blaish looks like he's going to be the first one to pit this race. Started on the softs, pitting on lap 9 for the mediums. So I'm not sure if he had wing damage, but that is a very unorthodox strategy, unless, of course, you are going for the 2-stop, which I believe I ruled out at the beginning of the race. But Tim Blaish might have, again, spited me and said, no, I can pull it off, as Dr. Robot now comes into the pits. the end of lap 9. Let's see, does he have wing damage? He does. So, okay, so that is explainable for the Red Bull, but now he's going to have to do mediums also for 20 laps. So maybe there was a collision between Dr. Robot and Tim Blage that forced both of them to come in. As left gear still staying out, King Mural, Monkey Man Matt. This is like, look at this. Luca has pulled out 7/10 to Arthur. Of course, that time is going to come right back down, but it just feels like he's much faster than the rest of these guys through the corners. He pulls out a big enough advantage on the straights and then loses, a tenth, 2/10. As Arthur deep into turn 1, that's going to cost him on the exit. And it just feels like he's not under pressure at all. And look at that, almost a second now. So Arthur barely in DRS. King Mural too far back to try and move though, but definitely if they do start fighting, Luca can very well pull away from everyone else. I mean, 50% ERS compared to everyone pretty much 10% ERS that they have. Riccitti heads into pits lap 10 from the softs onto the medium, so it may be a bit early to box, but not as extreme as we saw lap 9. Definitely his race was compromised earlier on, so he's just going to box a bit earlier maybe than everyone expected in yellows in sector 1. I think that was a Ferrari, potentially ASVP or Nico, both fighting for the points. Nico 1.1 seconds back from Dylan, who is in the final points position currently. But no real battles going on here other than this DRS train. So will we see Costello follow the some of the other soft runners and box this lap? Or will we see him try to utilize this DRS train to the best of his ability? And definitely, I think Luca is hoping that he'll stay out longer because he holds everyone else up, because Luca now does have the tire advantage. He holds everyone else up, gives Luca a nice little gap, and basically guarantees him second place is King Mural. Oh, locks up into turn 1, and oh, that's Monkey Man Matt, who saw that lockup and said, thank you very much, I'll take that position. But as King Mural turned back onto the racetrack, he saw Monkey Man Matt up his inside there, who's completely blocked him off, and that's allowed Ricardo now to catch up a substantial amount. The gap now down to under 4 seconds, as Monkey Man Matt no longer has DRS ahead to Arthur Costello. That gap is now 3 seconds, and King Mural is going to be incredibly mad at that, who had started from second place. Oh, and a little slide from turn 8. He had started in second place and is now down to 5th with pretty much any podium chance erased. But look at this now. It's going to be a fight strictly between Arthur Costello and Luca, and strictly between Monkey Matt and King Mural, as King Mural actually too far out, 1.08 seconds to the DRS. Of course, you need to be within 1 second to get the DRS. So King Mural is going to need to use some of the very little overtake that he has to potentially try and catch up with that Haas, and it looks like he might just about make it. It's 1.001, but no, he has not gotten it. So Monkey Man Matt lives another lap, and a bit of a bad exit out of 15, but no DRS down this straight for the McLaren. He's going to use all the overtake he has, and Mega Player is the first to pick up a 3-second time penalty with multiple warnings. But now King Mural is back in the DRS of the Haas, who struggled from a bad exit out of turn 15. Left here should probably be boxing this lap. Well, he could probably stick it out to 13, even 14. He doesn't need to really do so, but Arthur Costello should probably be boxing this lap. I think pretty much all conventional wisdom points towards that, as Mega Player, his teammate, heads into the pits 1 lap earlier than it looks like his teammate will. Take a look at this. Nico has caught up to the Mercedes of Dylan ahead. Nico, who was the McLaren driver last season, he saw some relative successes by him. I believe it was Brazil. I'm not incredibly sure. He had a few good races, though. Definitely believe he was on the podium once. Maybe that Netherlands race was really chaotic. I think he was on the podium there.
He definitely has the skill, though, and he's caught up into the DRS now of Dylan, who's 12 seconds behind the Red Bull of Showcrime. So really in no man's land here, these two are, as Tim Blaish, actually no, Tim Blaish is behind him. So this is also a bit of a DRS train. Left gear comes into the pits though. So for the first time this race, it will be Luca leading as Arthur follows him in behind. So for the first time this season, for the first time this race, it is a Haas 1, 2, and let's take a look at this. Is King Mural going to try and move, not into turn 1, but maybe into turn 4, and he's going to try to spoil that Haas 1, 2, even if so momentarily. He's going to get DRS, of course, down this straight, very short straight, but he's gained about a 10th on the Haas, and oh, they've touched, and King Mural maybe giving payback to the Haas, just sort of outbreaking himself. And I think I saw a bit of debris, actually. Let's take a look at his front wing. I mean, it doesn't look too wholly damaged, but potentially a bit of damage for the McLaren. We'll see if that impacts his driving ability as Artie heads into the pits. And while we were watching that, we just missed Nico overtaking Dylan up to P8 now. But of course, his DRS train forming, and here comes Tim Blaish on Dylan. He pulled alongside. Very, very unorthodox place to try and overtake. But look at this. He's gone a little bit wide. Tim Blaish is going to try the switchback. The Mercedes went deep. And look at that. The Haas has capitalized. Dylan down to 10th as Tim Blaish with a stunning overtake there, showing his true class and then going very deep into turn 10, but not as deep as Nico, though. And he's got the run on the Ferrari now, but Nico was just too far ahead. So he's going to have to hold on to 10th now. Look at this. Wukarda is going to try it around the outside of Dylan, too. Dylan now has lost 3 positions in 2 laps, but wait a minute. He's going to stay with him, and Dylan is going to reclaim that place as Monkey Man Matt has gotten a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, as King Mural is going to stay out on the mediums, potentially change up his strategy, maybe box for the softs. And take a look at this. Wukarda now overtaking Dylan, re-overtaking him. So this has become, I think, the main DRS train. We'll see the front one sort of start to form back as well now, but Nico does go into the pits after 13 laps on the mediums. Sorry, 14. Look at this. Wukarda going very deep, and Tim Blaish is going to try the switchback yet again. He's going to hold the position around the outside. He's not going to have DRS, though, so let's ride on board with Wukarda, who absolutely breezes past the Williams, and he's going to have to cede that one. Can't fight it, but Tim Blaish has been massive so far this race, starting near the back after a bad qualifying. He's been all over everyone, and he's up to 7th now, of course. Still, well, not yet to pit. He just has the better tires for now. That is going to come back and maybe haunt him near the end of the race. But yeah, he's done very, very well to dispose of the drivers behind him. And look at that, 9/10 to Mega Player, and ooh, he's gone over the curb a bit there. Just as I was praising him, he'd almost pulled out of DRS of Mega Player. Still, definitely, he could potentially do it, as Arthur Kostrewa and Luca playing DRS chicken here, and that's going to slow both of them down, and it's going to allow King Mural to gain back a bit of time that he had lost. It's not a lot, but is he going to come out ahead of the Haas still? Of Monkey Man Matt. It's going to be close on the exit, but I think the Haas has just about gotten him. Yeah, but for the fact that he's overcut him by 2 laps, I think that was definitely not a terrible overcut by King Mural. And look at this, Arthur around the outside of Luca. Is the Haas going to try to hold the position? Contact there. Artie with a 3-second time penalty, and Luca has been overtaken by Kostrewa, who's on the better tires for now. Of course, he had elected to go soft medium, and Luca medium hard. So Luca will have the tire advantage near the end of the race, but currently it is Arthur Kostrewa's battle to win. 11 seconds, by the way, now to left here. So he had completely changed the makeup of that race there with, of course, the DRS chicken and the battling. They had lost quite a bit of time two left here, who again currently in no man's land pretty much, as Wukarda has now caught up to his teammate, who is struggling to keep up with Monkey Man Matt, struggling to get life into those tires there. That gap was 1.7 as he had come out of the pits. Now it is 2.5. Of course, Monkey Man Matt has that 5-second time penalty, so as long as King Miro stays within 5 seconds, he will be fine. But at the moment, he would rather, I reckon, be in the DRS. Yellow flags in Sector 2 there. Who is that? That is going to be near the back. I think that was Reshkone or Marco, was one of the Alpha Tauris. His Mega Player with a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And whoa, look at that ASVPRD with a huge lunge up the inside. But now Marco's going to try to hold the position as they go too wide into 12. But it looks like Artie comes out ahead. An incredible lunge from the Ferrari, who is looking blisteringly fast. Now Reshkone, who has yet to pit, 15 laps on the mediums here. And ASVPRD is going to be trying. He's going to be dying to get past the Alpha Tauri. And look at this. He's going to basically send a lunge up the inside. That's an incredible line there. And basically forces the Alpha Tauri to stay out, as he wasn't able to cut ahead of the Ferrari. And now Artie up to 13th. I'm so grateful I caught that overtake as he slides through turn 1. And look at this, Nico too wide with Dylan. Battles all over the place now, as both the Ferraris unfortunately have penalties. And oh, Nico up the inside of turn 8. Crisscross applesauce out of 7. And the Ferraris are pulling off incredible overtakes this race. What a move by Nico there to pull a fast one on the Mercedes. And now let's go right on board with Luca, who's also going to overtake Artur Ostrewa down the main straight. That Haas just too fast with the DRS, and by the breaking point, he is fully ahead. He's going to take back the racing line. So Artur definitely not happy. He's trying to pull away from the Haas while he could, but Luca is giving him a tough time, as King Miro now catching Monkey Man Matt fractionally, just a few tenths a lap, but he's pulling away from his teammate Wukarda. Meanwhile, Tim Blaish and NL Carr rather close together. Let's take a look at this. Will NL Carr have the run on him into turn 4? I think he's just a bit too far back. And yep, not enough to make the lunge, but Tim Blaish goes really wide, and NL Carr looks like he has the better traction. He has the better tires, and almost was able to pull off the move there, and they are just very, very close together. Will he try it off the inside of 8? No, he runs pretty wide there, but he's going to stick with that Williams, only about 4 tenths the gap. And now that leaves the Williams vulnerable to potentially a move down this straight here. NL Carr just so neat through that turn, whereas Tim Blaish had a bit of a scrappy exit. And will NL Carr try it up the inside of 10 like we saw ASVPRD? No, he doesn't, but that Williams goes really wide, and now it is his chance to make the move, and NL Carr overtakes Tim Blaish, who had been doing so well. But as I said, now those 8-lap-old mediums are not going to be serving him well. Of course, we might see him box again if he's going to go for a 2-stopper, but I just don't think it's viable. He'll come out around P12 on the soft, so he'll be able to get some points, but 7 seconds behind the show crime now. He may as well just stick it out the rest of the race on this tire compound, as now Artur Ostrewa unable to make up time on the Haas as they're gonna lap. I believe that is Matt Missile, who does well to move out of the way there. Maybe could have gone a little bit wider though. As yes, the gaps are starting to grow, and Rikitti, again, something happened there. He's in P10 at the moment, Rikitti is, but the gap there you saw was 4 tenths. Now it is 1.1, so I think he might have just collided with Show Crime a bit, and yeah, and lost time because of that. Otherwise, not really very many battles happening right now. Artie and not Artie, Dylan and Nico still a bit close together, but other than that, it's only really Artur and Luca who have been trading positions back and forth. Yellow's in Sector 1, and who other but Shadow Bend, who I believe has been lapped by now pretty much everyone on the grid other than Matt Missal and Reshkone. I think he was just lapped there by Marco. But yeah, bad start to life for him in OFR, but we do hope that he can improve later on in the season. Of course, if he continues to come and drive, I think definitely it is very hard to drive with no assist, of course. So props to everyone that is doing it here. But yeah, but there's a level of skill that is required to be able to do that, and it is definitely not something you can just pick up in one day here and there. 10 laps remaining of this Grand Prix, and pretty much the winner, yellows in Sector 1, that is going to be Ricchetti, I believe. Unless it's Matt Missal. I think it was actually Matt Missal. Yeah. Who's getting lapped now by Monkey Man Matt. So actually, whoa, this is not good here. He's just stuck himself in between the guys fighting for P4. I think they're going to let him by here. Unless, look at this, King Miro maybe trying an overtake around the outside of Monkey Man Matt. This is going to be investigated as the Alpine's going to pull off the track there to let him by as he picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So that's definitely going to be back marker infringement there, investigated near the end of the race, as now the battle for P4 on track is heating up. Of course, Monkey Man Matt can get that 5-second time penalty removed at the end of the race if he provides sufficient evidence that he was not going over the speed limit. I did not look at his pit entry, but if he was going at 80, sometimes if you go exactly at 80 kilometers per hour, it will still give you a time penalty. So King Miro can't just, you know, lazily stick behind him for the entire rest of the race. He'll have to eventually get past him. Hopefully for him on the pit straight. But it is kind of sad what happened to King Miro's race. Started in P2, but of course there was fighting for podium positions, and then mistakes here and there messed him up. Monkey Man Matt going deep into 8. King Miro with a run into 9 and 10. Is he going to try a move? He almost lined one up there. I saw him pull to the inside. Yellows in Sector 1. That is Matt's Missile. So the two back markers here not having a good day at all, but they're yet to retire. The only one who has retired is Mega Player in the pits. So let's actually see who has fastest lap at the moment. Is it still Left Gear from the beginning of the race? It is still Left Gear. So I was gonna say, wait, could we see Left Gear box for fastest lap, as he has a bit of a gap, 13 seconds behind him, but he doesn't need to. I don't think he needs to. I think even if someone like who has a bit of a gap, someone like Reshko boxes and goes for softs, I don't think he'll be able to beat him. Yellows in Sector 1. Who else but Matt Missile as King Miro around the outside into turn 1. What an overtake. He's finally gotten past Monkey Man Matt, but now Monkey Man Matt is going to open up the rear wing. Is he going to try to get back into turn 4? Up the inside goes the Haas. King Miro is going to stick it a long way around the outside, and he's going to try to hold the position. 2 wide there through 5. Will they stay 2 wide through 6? It looks like the Haas has just poked ahead. The McLaren goes off track a little bit, but they're going to stay 2 wide. Is the Haas going to go up the inside to turn 8? Yes, they do. There's contact. The 2 wheels have touched, but it is Monkey Man Matt who gets ahead of the McLaren through wide through 10-15 seconds of track. Great racing between these two, who we saw come together quite a few times already this race. And now King Miro with the run into turn 10. He's going to try to feint a move, maybe try to make the Haas go defensive, but he doesn't, and he's going to stick behind him. And I think, look at this, I think Left Gear is slowed down now. He's losing time to Luca. I think he's just pulling in Max Verstappen and going on a lower engine mode. Not that you can do that in the F1 game, but I think he's just trying to take it at a leisurely pace, not force any mistakes. He can give up 2 seconds a lap and still not lose. So I think he's just happy with the way he is. And King Miro, DRS wide open. Is Monkey Man Matt going to try to stick it up the inside? Oh, contact! There's contact! And Monkey Man Matt comes together yet again with a risky move up the inside with King Miro, but gives him another tap to keep him going straight forward. And now Monkey Man Matt's going to try it into four, and King Miro is having none of it. Look at that pace around the outside for King Miro. Absolutely shuts down the overtake. That was very Alonso-esque around 130R at Japan with Schumacher. That's the commentary line I tried to mimic there as well. But yeah, this is great racing here as Artur Kostreva now has the worst tires compared to Luca and has fallen behind there. So I think that's pretty much the order of the race guaranteed, as Dylan is still fighting with Nico, who has been unable to pull out a second there, as Dylan struggling through turn 8 there. Loss of grip on the rear end. And now that's allowing, I think, Tim Blaish to catch him a bit. He's caught about a second through that corner. So he did, in fact, go for the 2-stop. And I think it's going to result in points for the Williams, because he's going to catch Dylan, probably. And then from there, he'll be in Nico's time penalty range. So it looks like the ceiling for the Williams, realistically, P9, as Monkey Man Matt still trying to get that McLaren on track. Of course, they are both flashing, and oh, they almost come together yet again. So Monkey Man Matt is struggling to stay off of the rear wing of that McLaren. It's almost like there's a gravitational field of attraction between those two. But yeah, Artur Kostreva, actually, by the way, has caught back up to Luca's DRS. So maybe the podium order is not yet determined, as that gap has shrunk from 1.3 to 0.7 seconds. So can we potentially see Artur Kostreva land on the second step of the podium in his first race back on equal performance? I have heard tales of Artur. He was definitely one of the better drivers in previous seasons, I believe. And now he is still up there. He had a bit of a lackluster season last year. Was put in that Alfa Romeo, just unable to succeed. But now back in Shows Division 4. And he has gotten that gap down to under half a second. Yellow flags. That is ASVP already in turn 4 there. And look at this. Down now to 3/10 here. They're going to get very, very close together. I don't think Monkey Man Matt's going to be able to fathom an overtake into turn 1. Unless he is. He is gaining very rapidly on that McLaren. He's going to try and pull to the inside up to turn 1. And this is his favorite place to overtake this race. He's going to try it. They're going to stay 2 wide through 2 and 3. But it looks like King Miro is just about able to get his nose ahead. And I think that DRS, no, the Monkey Man Matt keeps the DRS. And he's going to try it into 4. He's very far back. And he's going to take the responsible route this time and not go for a move on King Miro. Artur Kostreva now back to these two. So a Haas in the fights in both of these for P2 and P4. A little bit of a lockup there from Luca. We saw the smoke coming from his tires, and Artur always elects to go over the curb there. I don't know if he thinks it's faster. I don't know if it is faster. To me, it always has seemed like a slower line, and pretty much everyone else is thinking staying on the track fully. But now Artur Kostreva is well and truly back in the within striking distance of Luca. So will we see Artur be able to pull off a move on this lap? Now, even with the older tires, we've seen Artur able to corral his inner Alexander Albon, really, and be able to pull those tires all the way to the end. I think Luca using a bit of the ERS he has left. They're both, I think Luca has 10-20% more than Artur, but definitely very similar levels, as Luca, I think he's also running lower wings. So he's good through the corners, and he's probably running lower wings than some of these guys, as he was able to pretty easily make overtakes on the straight. And now look at that. He had DRS behind Artur did, and he was only able to gain a couple hundredths of a second. but he did gain quite a bit of time out of turn 4. Will Monkey Man Matt go for a move into turn 4? No, he doesn't. We've seen these huge lunges from Monkey Man Matt, but not this time, and rightfully so. Now Tim Blaish has caught up to Dylan, who's fallen back from Nico. Will he go for a move into turn 1? What a lunge from Tim Blaish. Incredible stuff. 4-lap softs versus 11-lap mediums, but still, the bravery to go for a move like that, the ability to get the car stopped, and Tim Blaish has solidified himself as the last of the last breakers. That was a Ricciardo-esque overtake from the Williams, and now he just needs a couple of corners to pull out of the DRS of that Mercedes, I'm sure. And look at that, he's already done it, and he's catching up to Nico. Of course, he has the position because Nico has that time penalty, but he'll want to get it done on the track here. Yellow's in turn 1 there. That's Reshkone, I think, and Marco. I think left here was caught up in that as well. It looks like an Aston Martin. As Monkey Man Matt, maybe a move into 14. Miro is going to have to respect that. He's going to have to give him the space, and he does. But look at this, incredible now from the Haas as he has the DRS rear wing open, but Miro is going to have the slipstream, and Monkey Man Matt is going to try and break that, weaving all over the place. He is allowed those 2 moves, though, and Monkey Man Matt is going to get ahead, and a slide into turn 1. We've seen Miro do that quite a few times, but this time it didn't lead to a collision, and now Miro is going to get the rear wing open. 3/10 is the gap. Now, will he try and send one up the inside of turn 4? He does not. He stays behind. He has 3 laps, though, still to try and determine this on track. And Tim Blaish now 1.2, the gap to Nico. I'm sure in a couple of corners he will have caught up, so we will be seeing a battle there as well. Artur Kostreva now still sticking within a second, but he's lost that edge that he had there a couple of laps before. Yellow's in sector 1. I believe that is Reshkone. Yeah, it is. He has struggled today through turn 10, so unlucky for him as King Mural now. I think we just missed an overtake into turn 10 as the McLaren gets ahead, and he does have the DRS there. So, wow, I'm actually so mad at myself for that, because that would have been an incredible overtake to watch. Yellow's in sector 2, I think that was there. 2 laps remaining, by the way, of this race. And Tim Blaish has caught up to Nico. Nico running really wide again. He has struggled with turn 10 all race long, and he's going to have to re-enter. Here is Tim Blaish going to try and go for a lunge into turn 10. Is he? No, he isn't. But he's going to have the better tires. He's going to take the inside line there. Incredible grip from the Williams, but I think Nico is just about able to stay ahead, and he's going to switch it to the inside for turn 12. The Williams goes for the move, and he's going to try to hold it around side Nico is, but no, he is unable to, and Tim Blaish is now ahead of the Ferrari. And look at this, Artur Kostreva. This is the closest he has been to Luca in a while now, and he's only got 2 laps to pull this off. He has the ERS advantage now, but they're both saving it, I think, for the last lap. And that's King Miro. Oh, King Miro is into the wall. And we saw the yellow flags there. I think Monkey Man Matt also into the wall. Wukarda now up to P4. So it is going to be a McLaren who takes 4, but it is not going to be Miro. It is going to be Wukarda, as Monkey Man Matt and King Miro, I think, came together there yet again. Artur Kostreva now 2/10 the gap to Luca. One final lap to determine who will be P2, as Tim Blaish has pulled away from Nico, so he'll hold on to that 9th place spot unless Monkey Man Matt can get past Wukarda on track. Does he have damage? King Miro has damage. I saw him pick up wing damage there, but I don't think Monkey Man Matt has damage, or at least not substantial damage. Both of these guys dumping the ERS, but look at this. Artur Kostreva is gaining. He might have to send a move up the inside of turn 1. Will the Alfa Romeo do it? He's going to be forced a long way around as Luca holds the inside line, but he's going to try to go for the move. He goes off track, and that's going to be, he almost spins, and I think that's going to be his P2 contention over. He lost a couple of tenths there, and he tried around the outside. Maybe it would have been wise to break a little bit earlier, stick behind, maybe try and go for the switchback, but the Haas goes wide there now. So Artur Kostreva has gained back 2/10. The gap stands at half a second. Who will come out in second? Monkey Man Matt overtakes Wukarda on track, but Wukarda will keep that P4. And look at this, Artur Kostreva still within a couple tenths of a second. Both of them running very low on ERS. Luca locking up a bit. Oh, but Artur Kostreva with a bad exit out of the turn. He's going to have to burn that ERS to try and stick with him. He's going to have one more chance down that back straight, but it is desperation is setting in for the Alfa Romeo. Meanwhile, Lefkier is going to round the final corner, and it is going to be his first race in the Aston Martin outfit, the first race of the season, and Lefkier wins the Bahrain Grand Prix. Now the fight for second is not yet over, but it looks like Luca is going to come out ahead of Artur, who struggled a bit at the end, but it is going to be a run to the line for the Alfa Romeo. But no, Luca will take second place in his debut race with Haas, and Artur is going to finish out the podium places. Meanwhile, Ricciardo, it just needs to hang on to 5 seconds within Monkey Man Matt's time. But wait a minute, NL Car could potentially take P4 from him unless he's going to know he's not going to try and move up the inside. But Ricciardo has gone wide, and it's going to be a run to the line. Is it going to be the Mercedes? Is it going to be the McLaren? It looks like the McLaren might just come out ahead, and oh, look at how close that was. Ricciardo by half a tenth of a second will take P4. NL Car 0.052. He will take P5, and Monkey Man Matt slips down to 6th, while King Miro will take 7th, Showcrime 8th, Tim Blaish 9th. Nico will be the last of the points holders unless Dylan gets ahead of him. No, Dylan will just about get ahead of him by 2 seconds. And 11th and 12th for Ferrari. That's a dismal performance there for the Italian outfit. And everyone up to 11th, I believe, also was lapped. So Lefkier, the winner. Driver of the day from the game is NL Car. I think me personally, I'm going to give my commentator's driver of the day to Luca. It was between Luca and Tim Blaish for me, but Luca, very clean, some good overtakes to get up to P2 at the start, and an incredible job to fend off Artur Kostreva for a podium on his debut. Congratulations on the P2, and congratulations to Lefkier on winning the Bahrain Grand Prix. And look at that, to cue the celebrations at the Aston Martin garage. Of course, I think he was the only Aston Martin driver here today. I'm not sure, maybe I'm remembering incorrectly, but still, it is Aston Martin who wins the weekend. No, it isn't. They're tied. Aston Martin with 26 points, and Haas also picked up 26 points. So we're going to head into week 2 of the Constructors' Championship tied. But I do think Monkey Man Matt is going to be penalized, so I think Aston Martin will just about come ahead. But there it is, ladies and gentlemen. There is your standings. These are going to be your driver standings as well. But this is the final, provisional final classification of the race. Lefkier in first, and a big win by 15 seconds. Luca behind him in second. Artur, then Ricciardo, then NL Car. Great on his debut as well. He was definitely third in my order for driver of the day. Then Monkey Man Matt, King Miro, who had some pretty violent battles throughout the day. Then Showcrime, Tim Blaish, Dylan, Nico, ASVPRD, Marco, Dr. Robot, Reshko, Rikiti, Matt Missal, and then Shadow Ben rounds out the last of the finishers. Mega Player taking P19 with a DNF. And there is the end of the first race of the season. Thank you all for watching, and make sure to come back next week for, let's pull up the calendar. I believe it is going to be the Melbourne Grand Prix. Same time, same place, as we head to the land down under for the second race of the season. Who will win there? Will Lefkier continue to dominate, or will we see a new face atop the top step of the podium? Thank you all for watching.